Good evening and welcome back to C4 Live. We appreciate you coming back and watching more about background checks. Today we are going to talk about two different topics. Number one, we're going to talk about 7-year states. And the second thing we're going to talk about is inputting your information and double checking things for accuracy. So if you are a C4 client already, you know, or at least we've probably talked to you about being a 7-year state. And what that means is that in certain states, you can only go back 7 years. That is kind of the standard in the industry. That's probably one of the reasons why they pick 7 years, but that is important to know. Some of our clients call and say, hey, can we get a 10-year search, or can we get a lifetime search? We have a new group of clients who are part of an organization that is going to be moving to lifetime. As we've talked about before, in the state of Indiana, in home health care, you have to do lifetime searches. So there are different clients out there, different groups. Maybe it's an industry, maybe it's a state requirement, whatever it might be, that wants you to go back more than 7 years. But if you're located in one of these states, we're going to talk about California, Kansas, Maryland, Massachusetts, Montana, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, Washington State, Colorado, and Texas. If you're in one of those states, there's a good chance that you can't go back more than 7 years. Some of those states say you can't go back more than 7 years if the person makes this much money or less. There's salary caps to the exemption. Or beyond that much money, you can go back more than 7 years. So there's different things there. Some of them have a time limit reporting limit, like I said, 7 years. Some of them, absolutely no cap, no nothing. For example, California. You can only go back in California for 7 years, period. There's very small exceptions for things like if somebody has a sexual natured crime and they are working around kids or elderly, then you can go back further. But all of that kind of gets into the minutia. The best thing there to do is call us. We'll explain some of those details for you in that realm. But let me go through that list one more time. California, Kansas, Maryland, Massachusetts, Montana, New Hampshire, New Mexico, New York, the state of Washington, Colorado, and Texas. They all have some kind of 7-year law that we have to look at. So if you're in any one of those states, we cannot do a lifetime, we cannot do a 10-year, as long as some of those exceptions aren't met for your particular industry or where the field that we would be searching in for that. So that is something to consider, a 7-year state. Want to go over that, want to make sure that you understand if you're in a 7-year state, call us. We can go over some of those different exemptions, some of the different rules, and see whether we can do that for you if that fits a need that you might have. The second thing that we want to talk about is data input. As you know, again, if you're a client of C4, you're going to get on, you're going to go through the 4 or 5 screen process. You're basically going to be inputting 4 pieces of information: name, address, social security number, date of birth. When you do that, please make sure that you are inputting the correct information. The name is spelled right, the birth date is correct, the social security number is correct. You're going to input that on the first screen, you're going to go through a couple more screens, and then there's going to be a verification screen at the end. Please, during that summary process, go through that and make sure that you have done everything correctly. Double check the spelling of the name. I know it sounds crazy, but make sure you have the first name in the first name box and the last name in the last name box. Make sure that the date of birth is correct. Make sure the social security number is correct. The problem with these things is if they are not correct, as soon as you hit submit, that goes straight into the databases, straight to the researchers, and some of that we can't get back. So if that is in error, you're going to have to pay for that and then rerun another one and pay for the new one as well. We will try and help in any way we can. If we can catch it quick enough, maybe there's 1 or 2 pieces out of the whole package that we can stop, that you may not get charged for. But typically, you're going to have to pay for that whole package because it's already off and about by the time either that we catch it or that you catch it, that something is wrong. A lot of times we'll catch it because if a social security number is wrong, it'll come up with no records found or no data or whatever. And we're thinking, well, this person at this age should have, there should be data in there. So we call you and you check the number and you say, oh yeah, I mistyped this, or I didn't put that number in correctly. By then it's way too late to stop any of the searches, and they do have to be paid for. So please understand that. We're trying not to have anybody pay for anything that they don't need to pay for, but it really starts with you who inputs the record. You have to make sure that is all inputted correctly. If you have any questions before you push submit, call us and ask us, hey, I've got this here, is that all correct? Double check the numbers, double check the birth dates, things like that. And again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call first. All right? Those are the 2 topics for tonight. As always, we answer our phones 24/7, so feel free to give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a great night. Thanks.